Holy.
Our Lord and our God, we appreciate you. We thank you.
Thank you, Lord.
For the conveyor and the presenter and everybody present today for the July program.
Thank you.
We thank you for good health. We thank you for life.
Thank you, Lord.
We thank you for providing for our daily needs.
Thank you.
And we thank you for your wisdom.
Thank you, Lord.
Father, as we are starting the program, come and be with us.
Amen.
And as we are going to listen to the presenter, to the facilitator, let every participant have the blessing to have wealth in their life.
Amen.
We need your wealth. Father, come and give us the wisdom to acquire it.
Amen.
And give us good health to enjoy what you have given us.
Amen.
We pray once again for Professor Toyin. Father, come and continue to bless her handiwork.
Amen.
Give her retentive memory to provide and help others more than what she's doing.
Amen.
And at the end, let us have all cause to continue to be glorifying your holy name.
Amen.
Your mighty name I've prayed.
Amen. Thank you very, very much, sir. That was very, very moving. Once again, welcome to everyone that's just joined us now. This is Youth Against Crime, Not Crime Against You, a registered charity in the UK. Started September 2010, inspired by the sad death of Samuel Gunro, age 17. But what we aim to do with this organization is to empower ourselves, the youths, parents, and all these programs and titles are led by the youth, for the youth and parents. So today we're going to hear from Sister Aisha, who's going to tell us why our health is indeed our wealth. Over to you, Sister Aisha.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I would just like if you can, good afternoon. I just would like a confirmation if everyone can hear me, please.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Loud and clear.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your response. Good afternoon, everyone, once again. My name is Aisa Okunade. So for the next 20-25 minutes maximum, keeping my fingers crossed, I will be talking to us today about our health, why our health is our wealth. So that is the topic for today. I'll just do a quick introduction of myself. So my name is Aisha, like I said, and I study food, human nutrition, and also I'm an educationist. So that's what I do for living. So every information I'm going to share with us today, it's not, it's fact. It is backed with evidence-based research on why we need to look after our health. So let's proceed. So we'll look into what our health is, what do we mean by our health, and what do we refer to our wealth, and why is it important for us to live a healthy life, and how can we have a sustainable, healthy life. So this is what we are going to look into today's program. So when we say health, what does health mean to each and every one of us? So health means a state of being completely having a good state of physical health, mental health, and social well-being. So it doesn't necessarily mean there may be a complete absence of sicknesses or diseases. There may be one or two, but when you are in most percentage have a good physical, mental, and social well-being, then you will be classified as someone with a good health status. But when we look into the definition of wealth, what do we mean by when we say the word wealth? Wealth has different meanings if we look into the English dictionary, you can find different meanings of what wealth is. But the word wealth itself means when we have something in abundance, when we have a plenty of something. Some people may refer wealth to them as money. Some people may refer property as their own wealth. But anything that you have in abundance, that is your wealth. So why should our health be the foundation of our wealth? We can have as many as possible money in the account. We can build thousands and thousands of houses. We can acquire a lot of property. Or if we do not have a good health, if we do not have a sound mind, if we do not have a good social life, if we do not keep our physical well-being in check, no matter how these material things that we have, it will be just a valueless. It won't have that value in our life. So this is why our health is our wealth. So we look into how can we live a very healthy life and how can we continue to enjoy living a healthy life. So when we look into our health, it's not just about eating, drinking, doing exercise. Like I mentioned, that our mental well-being is very important as part of our health. Also our social well-being, our physical well-being, and the food, the nutrition, the food that we eat as human beings. So mental health. So we all likely, so I would say possibly majority of us would have heard one or two things about our mental health on the TV, by different health campaign, NHS, different health bodies in the United Kingdom and for everyone, having a very good mental state of mind is key. I would say that if you have a very good nutrition, if you eat good food, if you exercise, which helps contributes to having a good mental health well-being, if our mental health is not in check, if we cannot focus properly, it affects every day, every aspect of our life. That is very one thing that I want every one of us to understand today, that no matter who you are, what you do for a living, if your mental health is not in the right state, it will affect every aspect of your life, your family, your friends, your work, your career, even how to think to progress and move to the next level will be a bit difficult just because you do not have a very good mental health. So having a good mental health will allow us to be able to cope with the stress of life. As we all know, as human beings, we are in one point in time of our life, we will be stressed over a lot of things, either be children, either be in your marriage, be in your career, be in your personal life, environment, you need to pay taxes, you need to pay your bill, you need to do this, you need to do that. Every piece and pieces of this thing could cause stress to your life. So managing your mental health is very important. There's no way we will not think about things that surround us. There's no way you cannot wake up in the morning and say, I'm not going to think about the bill that comes in the post. But how would you manage you not taking it to the next level in your brain so that it doesn't disturb your brain too much? It is very important as part of our health, as part of our living healthily. So we need to learn how to, when we have a good mental health, when our brain, our cognitive ability functions properly, it will benefit us, it will benefit our families, we will be useful to the community as well. That is when we can think of the next thing to do. That is when we can do the right thing from the wrong thing because we have a sound mind. So mental health means having a sound mind. Having a sound mind will make you focus. Even if you want to achieve a goal, if you have a sound mind, it helps you to have this clear direction on which path to follow. So having a sound mind, having a good mental health in check is very important for each and every one of us. So like I mentioned, that it is very important that a lot of things, like I said, that it will contribute to us affecting our mental health. there's nothing we can do about it, but we would learn to cope and deal with the situation. So there are different ways in which we can cope with mental health, most especially when it comes to stress. I would say that stress can lead to depression. It can be a mild depression. It can be a chronic depression if we do not take care of it from the beginning. So we need to be very aware of this. And also sometimes it may be something that is biological. Sometimes some people are, they have some traits in them, the genetic traits in them that can trigger any mental health issues easily than other people. So if it is biological, yes, you can still manage it. But if it is, if you have any mental issues due to certain factors, the external factors around it, also you can learn to manage it so that it does not overwhelm you. So yes, like I said, that we have a physical side of stress and we have the genetic side of our mental health issues. There are different types of stress because that is the basic for most majority people in terms of mental health. The beginning of it is they feel stressed. Then from stress leads on and on and on to different types of mental health issues. Some are medical, which is the one that I mentioned that is in the gene. Those are medical, but the ones that are caused by the external factors, we can still learn to cope with it. So the next part, after moving on from our mental health, knowing how to keep our brain in check, then the next thing that we need to understand is having our physical well-being. The one thing about health is one connects to the other. We need to know that. Sometimes you can say that, how can I keep my mental well-being in check? It leads to your physical well-being. Then it also leads to your nutrition. So part of you to keep your mental well-being in check is you engaging in physical activities or movement, which will now refer to your physical well-being. So part of your physical well-being is for you to get active. So when I say active, you don't necessarily have to hit the gym like most people would do. If going to the gym is what you like or what you feel like you can do, if you have the time, that's very great. That is another advantage. But you just being physically fit, you can go for a walk. And it is even advisable by NHS and other health experts in the United Kingdom that sometimes if you have so much in your mind that your mind is fully occupied, just drop everything, get out of the house, go for a nice walk, probably in the park. That will help you calm your mental health. In that way, you are hitting the bed with two stones. You are looking after your physical being. At the same time, you are looking after your mental well-being. So being physically fit is really important as well for your mental well-being. Sometimes when you go to, let's say that you go to the gym doesn't necessarily mean that you have to carry heavy weights. Sometimes when you go to the gym, you tend to release some stress hormone out of your body. So when you go home, you have a nice shower, you sleep. The same thing when you go for long distance walk, you tend to release all the stress out of your body, everything that worries you at that moment. Then when you go home, you feel more relaxed, more refreshed, and you'll be able to think very well on the next thing to do. Rather than being stressed on a situation, it gives you a clear mind for you to know exactly what to do. So we need to remember that having a good mental health can be improved by our physical activity. Our physical well-being can also help to manage our mental health. Engaging in physical activity also helps us to reduce the risk of developing non-communicable diseases. So non-communicable diseases are diseases that we cannot see with our eyes, but need to be diagnosed by medical experts. So it can be diabetes, it can be stroke, it can be any cardiovascular disease, it can be hypertension, can be high blood pressure, it can be high level of bad cholesterol in the body. So engaging in physical activity of being physically fit will help you to reduce the chance of developing non-communicable diseases, and it will also help your cognition, which is your mental health. Apart from that, it helps your bones, your muscles, your overall well-being. As we grow, all the organs, the bone in our body, if we do not continue to strengthen them as we go, they become weakened. Because the way our body will absorb the nutrients will slow down. So we need to keep strengthening our bones, strengthening our bodies as we grow old. So engaging in physical activity helps in a lot of ways and also helps us to keep our mental well-being in check. So there are different recommendations from the NHS. For every country, they have their own health recommendation for food. They have their own health recommendation for exercise. But for the United Kingdom, the recommendation that we have for physical activity is 100 minutes to 300 minutes per week, not per day, per week, on moderate intensity aerobic exercise. Aerobic exercise in a nutshell means exercise that uses oxygen, and anaerobic exercise is exercise that you do not require oxygen. So anything that makes you like, that means you're using a lot of oxygen. So let's say you're running, so that is an aerobic exercise. So we just need to keep that in check. Or if you're walking at a, not like strolling, but if you're walking at a more intense pace, so you need to do 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intensity exercise. But if you are doing vigorous exercise, say you're lifting weights, you're jumping on the boxes, you're doing any exercise that is more rigorous on your body, because you know your body. So what I will count as rigorous exercise for my body may be different from someone else, because I know my body, you know your body. So any rigorous exercise on your body, then you need to do minimum of 75 to 150 minutes. You can do more than that. Like I said, you know your body best, but this is just the minimum that you can do within a week. And it is also recommended that we should do strength training. We need to strengthen our muscles. As we grow old, like I said, our muscles and strength tend to go down. So we need to do that 2 or more days in a week. Some sport therapists will tell you do 2 to 3 days of strength training, maximum 3 days. So it allows your muscles to relax. So you don't want to overdo it as well. Otherwise, you can cause more stress on your body. And one more thing that I would say is that when we go for any kind of physical activity, it is very good for us to rest as well. Because through physical activity, you can put your body under stress as well. So resting is very important after any physical activity. Most especially when we do any vigorous physical activity, it is very important that we rest our body. The next part of looking after ourselves is by eating healthily. When we say eating healthily, there are tons and tons and tons of information, most especially on social media, what to eat and what not to eat, superfood, cancer killing food, diabetes killing food. But the most important thing that we need to know as individuals is what exactly do we need to put in our body? That can help our brain, that can help us to manage our lives very well. So according to NHS, because we use NHS National Health Services, So they created something called the Eat Well Guide. It was formerly called the Eat Well Plate before they changed it to the Eat Well Guide. So the Eat Well Guide, this is what I'm showing you on the screen now. It's just like an illustration of what you need to eat and at what proportion you should be eating. So under the nutrient that we require in our body, we have the macronutrients and also we have the micronutrients. The macronutrients are the ones that we need in large quantity in our body because our body requires a lot. So we need that in large quantity for the body. And the micronutrients are nutrients that we do not need them as much as we need the macronutrient, but we need that in smaller quantities. So they are the vitamins and the minerals. The macronutrients that we need in large quantities are the carbohydrate, the protein, and our fats and oils. So one thing that we need to know is that when we eat any type of food, most especially the macronutrients, we need to eat because this food are the source of energy. So all macronutrients, either carbohydrate, protein, and fat and oil, they are source of energy. They provide other minerals and nutrients to the body, but the most important thing is that source of energy. So the main source of energy for our body that our body really requests from us is carbohydrates. I know a lot of people will be like, carbohydrate, there's a lot of myths around carbohydrate. Trust me, as bad as carbohydrate can look to some people, it is what our brain needs most. But we just need to know the type of carbohydrate to eat. When you eat something when you eat something too much, when you consume things too much, then it can be bad for your body. But if you do not have it in your body as well, it is also bad for your body. So the main source of energy for our body to function very well is carbohydrate. You need carbohydrate for your brain because carbohydrate, when you eat any form of carbohydrate, when it breaks down in the body, the end product becomes glycogen. So your body stores it in the body as glycogen. And that is what helps our brain to function. The brain can use fat, or it will first rely on that. So if you want a very good mental state and you want your brain to function properly, you need to have some carbohydrates in your diet as well. So there are different types of carbohydrate. We have the starchy carbohydrates. So we have the carbohydrate that consists of fibers. So what the health experts advise us to do is eat carbohydrates. Try to reduce refined carbohydrates. So what do I mean by refined carbohydrate? Any carbohydrate that is highly processed. This is where the problem comes in. So let's say your white rice. I know a lot of people will be like, white rice, I can't do with that rice in a day. White rice, yes, you can have white rice. There's nothing wrong with it. But just make sure that it is not something that you eat like every single day if you're not ready to get rid of it from your body. So you can opt for wholemeal rice, wholemeal bread, the brown stuff. So you can eat more of the brown carbohydrates and less of the white carbohydrate. So anything that looks white on your carbohydrate plate, so you can just try, not cut it off. I'm not saying cut it off, but try to minimize the amount of time you consume different type of carbohydrate. Our fruits and vegetables also contain carbohydrate. Even though they contain minerals and vitamins, it also contains carbohydrate because the end product is sugar. So it contains some form of carbohydrate. So it's not just you eating African foods like your pounded yam, your eba, your rice, the bread, the agege bread. No, there are other foods that you can eat that also contains carbohydrate. But the most important thing is go for the ones that are good for your body, not the refined carbohydrate. So we move next to protein. Protein, as we all know, that protein is one of a macronutrient that is also essential for the body, for our immune system. You need protein. If someone has a cut now in their body, let's say you have a scissors cut or maybe something, It takes time for the wound to heal. So depending on how sufficient amino acid that you have, that is the end product of protein you have in your body, will help your wound to heal quickly. So if your blood flow is high in sugar, this is what happens to people who has diabetes, that when they have a cut, it takes longer time for it to heal because the blood is high in sugar content, high in glucose content. But if your blood is high in protein, when you have a cut, it makes it a lot more easier to heal. So protein is good for that. Protein, we have protein in our body. Our body makes protein itself, apart from the dietary protein that we eat. And we can get our protein from plant-based food. We can also get our proteins from animals, like our turkey, our cow, our goat's meat, our chicken. We can get protein from there as well. So when we eat protein, it helps us to also to control sugar levels. And apart from that, when we eat protein, it makes us full and more satiated enough compared to when you eat some form of refined carbohydrate. So let's say that you eat rice now for lunch. If you had some form of protein to eat, mix it up with some form of fruit and vegetable, you're still full for a longer time. But compared to when you have just a bowl of rice by itself, maybe 1 or 2 meat or a piece of fish or 2 fish on the plate, in the next 2-3 hours, you feel hungry again. So this is the difference between carbohydrate and protein. Protein and fat will make you feel full for a longer time, so you don't keep eating and eating and eating all over again. We need protein for our muscles because, like I said, that as we grow old, our muscles begin to weak. For children, for newborn babies, for older adults, for adults, we all need protein, but the quantity of protein we need in our body changes as we grow. So the next part of the macronutrient is the fat and oil, which is also a big issue for a lot of people. When they say fat, I don't want this, it's full of fat. But the thing is that we also need fat in our body. In order for us to have a very good health, we need fat. The fat in our body is also a source of energy. Let's say that some people go in on the, give an example, on the keto diet. They cut down their carbohydrate intake. But what they do is they increase the fat intake because you need a form of energy in your body. So fat is a source of energy for the body. And also fat is very important for us to, for some form of vitamins. It's called vitamin, I think vitamin A, D, E, and K. When we consume these vitamins from plants or from fruits or from vegetables, when it goes into our body, if we do not have enough fat, it might be the dietary fat, it will be difficult for the body to absorb all the nutrients from the maybe the fruits and vegetables that we had. So fat helps us in the absorption of some form of fruits and vegetables. So we can see that fat is good for the body as well. So it helps to insulate our bodies. It helps in the hormone. It helps also in brain development, most especially for children. While they're still growing up, we want them to develop their brain to an optimal state. So fat is good for them. But the thing is that there are different types of fat. So we need to know which one to eat for us to have a complete health, for us to have a very good health. So we have the 2 main type of fat we have is the monounsaturated fat and the polyunsaturated fat. The monounsaturated fat is the fat that help us to protect our heart, and they are very good in the high density lipoprotein. So just pardon, it's just a scientific term, simple. The good cholesterol and the bad cholesterol. So it is good to consume the unsaturated fats. So we can see from the image we have unsaturated fat, we can find them in oils. We can find them in some form of nuts and seed, almonds, Brazil nuts, peanuts, avocados, olive oil, rapeseed oil, and any spread made of those from those oils. This is some form of a good fat that our body really needs. The next one is the one we call the polyunsaturated fat. Maybe we've seen on the TV or some when we go to the grocery shops for our daily shopping or weekly shopping, see omega-3, omega-6, or written in some of the products. So this is a type of good fat also that we should be consuming. It's good for our brain as well. Remember, our mental well-being is key for us as well as our physical well-being and the nutrition. So where can we get all this omega-3, omega-6, polyunsaturated fat? The mackerel that we eat, the sardine that we eat, the salmon that we eat, the trout, herring, keepers, different type of fish that these are called oily fish, not the, sometimes when you grill your mackerel in the oven, you can see some natural oil. That is, if you did not add any oil to the mackerel. You can see some natural oil flowing out of the mackerel. These oils are good for your body. You don't have to chuck it in the bin when you grill a mackerel. You can just as well use the same oil for your cooking, which is very good. And sometimes we can find the omega-6 fats in some of our vegetables as well, corn flour, sunflower oil, and some form of nuts. Just know that to make it a lot more easier for us to understand, any type of fat or oil which is at room temperature, that it doesn't solidify, is very good. So let's say you put a bottle of olive oil down at room temperature, it doesn't get thickened. So you know that this is good for me. So this is the easiest way for us to know what type of fat and oil should I consume. Any fat and oil that doesn't solidify at room temperature is a very good source of fat that we should consume. Now we go to the one that we need to stay clear of or try to reduce. If we cannot eliminate it from our diet, but we should try as much as possible to reduce the consumption of it. These are called the saturated fat. This type of fat is the fat that when you leave them at room temperature, it becomes solidified. Let's say butter. You keep your butter this hard to hold, then you know this is a no-no. I'm not saying do not eat, but eat in a very minimal quantity. So it's not something that you get a piece of bread and you put your butter on top of it and you close your eyes and put your butter. Just know that that will not be good, except if you are using spreads that the basis is oil. Let's say olive oil spread, which is good. So you can use that as well. So we have the ghee, the lard, they are high in saturated fat, ice cream, cheesecake, biscuit, pastry, you will be surprised, palm oil. I'm not saying don't use it, but in a very small quantity. Coconut oil, coconut cream, in a very small quantity. Just be mindful that large quantity of it may lead to blocking your arteries, blocking the veins, so it does not allow the blood to circulate, take vitamins to the heart and bring it back from the heart. So we just need to be mindful. So we have, yes, then we have the last one called trans fat. Trans fat is a type of fat that's most health experts of most developed countries try to ban. It's as bad as that. So let me put it that way. So trans fat, they are some form of fat that they're very low in some form of foods and meats and dairy products, but in some form of hydrogenated vegetable oil. So hydrogenated means that something that's been that hydrogen has been added onto it. So this type of fat can be found in chips, chicken nuggets, burgers, fast food. Let me put it this way, fast food. So, but in the United Kingdom, I do not know about, I think in the United States as well, but I'm not 100% sure. But in the United Kingdom, any food making companies that use trans fat, they has to put it on the label. So you that you are consuming the food, you need to know that this food I am consuming contains trans fat. So it is as bad as that they need to declare it on the food label. So we need to watch out for it. So one more thing that I need to explain to us is that when we eat, most especially the macronutrient, the carbohydrate and protein. So for every 1 gram of carbohydrate that you eat, you get 4 kilocalories. That's the energy. So energy is measured in kilocalories. So you get 4 kilocalories. Same for protein and carbohydrate. But for every 1 gram of fat that you eat, you get times 2 plus 1, which is 9 kilocalories. So this is the recommendation from SACAN. SACAN are the Scientific Advisory Committee on Nutrition for the United Kingdom. So they are the ones that regulate consumption of nutrients that the entire population should be consuming according to their age and on the basis that there are no form of sicknesses or diseases. So what they said is that you need to eat at least 30 grams of saturated fat. Remember, the saturated fat is the one that is not too good for the body. There's no way you can eliminate it from your diet, but just be mindful that do not eat more than that as a man. And for women, not more than 20 grams. And children should have less than that, maybe 10, maybe 5 grams of it per day. And for trans fat, if anyone would consume food that contains trans fat, you shouldn't eat more than 5 grams of trans fat per day. And when it comes to eating the good fat, which is the omega-3, in terms of your oily fish, then try and have 2 portions of oily fish in 2 portions of fish each week, with 1 portion being an oily fish. So one thing is that when we have vegetables, for those of us that just consume vegetables like the vegetarians, you cannot really get the omega-3 fat from there. You will not find the same benefit as you consuming a fish. So we move on to micronutrients. Those are the ones that it's been required in the body in small quantity. We have our vitamins and we have our minerals. So they help us in our immune disease prevention, our overall well-being as well. Some of these vitamins and minerals also help our brain a lot, help our mental cognition. So we need a bit of everything for our overall well-being, for us to function properly as human beings. So when we have vitamins, we have the fat-soluble vitamins, like I mentioned when I was talking about the fat, and also we have the water-soluble vitamins, which are vitamin B and C. Fat-soluble vitamins means they can dissolve in fat. They can only function when they see fat, right, in the body. So they helps to move around the body by, so the fat is the main way to transport these vitamins around the body. And the vitamin B and C means that they've been transported around your body through water. So they can attach themselves to water in your body, and that will help it move around our body. That is what it means when it says fat-soluble vitamins and water-soluble vitamins. The water-soluble vitamins, when we eat them, if you consume too much of it, because it's transported through water, if we have too much of these vitamins, you just have to urinate. Your body gets rid of it automatically. But the fat-soluble vitamins, because it's been attached to fat for transportation, so it is not difficult to get rid part of the body. So that's the difference between the two. But whatever way, the fat-soluble vitamins, the water-soluble vitamins, we still need all these vitamins in our body. So we need it for our healthy skin, for our hair, if we want to look good. We need all these type of vitamins and minerals for our teeth, for our bones, for every part of our body, our organs. We need both fat-soluble vitamins and water-soluble vitamins in our body. So the next one we move to is the minerals. So we have the macro minerals. So minerals are also, we need them in small quantity, but there are certain type of minerals that we need them in smaller quantity. So they are called the trace elements or the trace minerals. And the macro minerals are the minerals, even though we need them in small quantity, but they are in larger proportion, smaller quantity, but in larger proportion. So some of the minerals, we have phosphorus, calcium, magnesium, iron, sodium that we get from our salts, chloride, different type of minerals, zinc, selenium, copper, all these type of minerals, we can get it from different foods. So I'm showing us from different type of foods, seeds, from nuts, from cheese, from fruits, from vegetables, you get a combination of different minerals. This is one thing that is good when we eat. When we eat selection of foods, so let's say that you are having your broccoli on your plate. So broccoli, how this is vitamin, you're getting a lot of things from broccoli. You're getting your fiber, you're getting your vitamins, you're getting your mineral. So you're not getting one thing. So that is why health experts, what they advise us to do is that when we are eating our food, we have a selection of different things. So we get a benefit from, we get the benefit of vitamins, we get the benefit of minerals, we get the benefit of our fat, our protein, our carbohydrates. So we get everything in every meal. So we need to opt for the having a plate to contain carbohydrate, to contain protein. A plate should have vitamins, minerals, and fat and oil. So we can get all the essential nutrients from this diet. So now, how do I know what to eat? And now I know what to eat, and now I know that for me to have a wealthy life, that my health is the basis of my wealth, that having a good health is what will help me to function properly as a human being. So, Aisha, how do I know the quantity of food to eat? Yes, as adults, as a child, as an older adult, we all have different quantity of energy requirements that we need for the body. So a chart I have taken from the British Nutrition Foundation, so which shows that, let's say someone who is in the age range of 35 to 44 years of age, a male, an average dietary intake per day would be around 2,629 kilocalorie. Kilocalorie, remember, is the energy that we get from the food, the macronutrient that we need. So this is mainly what we get from our protein, fats, and oil, and carbohydrates. So 2,629 for someone between the age range of 35 to 44 years of age. The same age range for female differs. So the same age range for, let's say, 35 to 44 years of age, they would need to consume 2,103 calories compared to male. So we can see that there's a difference between what the quantity of energy a woman can consume in food is very different to the quantity of energy a man can consume in food. So as we grow older, because our physical activity tends to slow down, then it is now recommended that your food intake, your energy intake should drop down. So if we look at the table, the food intakes tend to drop down as we go older. It doesn't matter if you're a man, it doesn't matter if you're female. As you grow older, your energy requirement tends to go down. This is on average for someone with a healthy weight. Just need to clarify that on average for someone with a healthy weight. If you're now looking for losing weight, then there's a different advice on what you need to do in terms of your energy intake. If you're an athlete or someone who is super active, let's say a footballer, a basketballer, or a sprinter, then their energy requirement will be different. So this is just a general guide for someone who engages in moderate activity. So if it's someone who has no exercise at all, no exercise, less movement. So there's a different energy requirement that that person will also look into. So if you engage in moderate activity, then this is what the UK government recommend that you should eat. So far, you do not have any diseases. So far, you do not have any illnesses. If there are any diseases or illnesses, then your energy requirements will change in relation to the type of sicknesses or disease or illness that you have. So this is just for a healthy human being. So one more thing that I have found that most of BAME communities, Black, Asian, ethnic minority groups, is that they have no idea or less idea of when they go to the store, what exactly they need to be looking out for on the food labeling. So I've kind of given some information on the food labeling that when we go for our next grocery shop, and we need to remember that having a healthy life, having a good mental health is very important. It starts with what we do, the steps that we take. One of which is for us to pay attention to the labels that we have on the food. It's very important. So we have, I've given the first one at the top. So it says each grilled burger 94 grams. So let's say you have 94 grams of burgers. So you have a 4-pack of burger from, let's say, Sainsbury's or Waitrose or Mark and Spencer or Iceland, and you just read at the back of the burger box. So it tells you that if you have one burger, this is what you're going to get. So that's the information. So the easiest thing is that this is the kilocalories. So let's say a woman of 55 to 64 years of age, they require a healthy human being who has a moderate lifestyle of exercise. So they would require, let's say, 2,079 kilocalories of energy per day. And the person went ahead to eat one burger, just the burger, not the bun. So you need to subtract 220 from that 2,079. So if you go for 2 burgers without the bun, now remember you haven't added the burger sauce, you haven't added the ketchup, you didn't include the mayonnaise. So if you have 2 burger minus all the condiments, minus the bun, you have 2 burger, that is 440 calories, and that means you've consumed 26 grams of fat. That means you have like 11.8 grams of saturated fat. Remember, the saturated fat is a fat that it is not really good for the body, and health experts advise us not to eat more than 20 grams as female, and 30 grams as male. So this is the easiest way for us to find out the quantity of energy that we are getting from every food that we buy and eat and consume. So that's the easiest way for us to find it. So if you're confused that, oh, everything is called red, you can take away the number of saturated fat from the normal fat. The normal fat is the total fat. So if the number of saturated fats is higher than you have more. So let's say the third one, it's fat 0.7 and the saturated fat is 0.1. So you have 0.6 gram of good fat. So this will be good for you. But if you take out the number of saturated fats from the total fat and you see that the remainder is lesser than the saturated fat, it's a no-no. You need to be very careful before eating that type of food. So now we've looked into how to look after our well-being, that looking after our mental health, it's really connected to caring for our physical well-being, which is also connected to the type of food that we eat, having good balance of everything at moderation. Now we need to think about sleep and rest. As we all know that the way this country is, and everyone is just hustling and bustling up and down, trying to survive, cater for the family, put food on the table, look after ourselves. And these are the things that cause some form of mental issues for us. But rest and sleep is very good. Rest and sleep, you do exercise, you eat good food, you still need to rest. When we rest, when we sleep, it helps our brain. Our brain functions very well when we rest. When you have a good rest, when you have a good sleep, that is when you can think of your next strategy to make it in life. Because your brain is really calculating, your brain is really working. So when you rest, it helps to reduce your stress level. So we all understand that for us to sleep and for us to rest is very good. If we want to really have a wealthy and healthy lifestyle, rest and sleep is as good as every other thing. So it improves our concentration, it improves our attention rate. There is no, because I've heard people say that, you need 7 hours sleep, you need 8 hours sleep. There's no rule. There's no standard rule of how many hours of sleep you need. It depends on everyone. Some people can sleep for 2 hours. It will be equivalent to someone else sleeping for 10 hours. So like I said, you know your body. If you think 3 hours sleep, 4 hours sleep is very good for you, you have a deep sleep within those 3, 4 hours, go for it. Go for it, that's fine. You know your body, that is the most important thing. So, but for on average, they will say adult need to 7 to 9 hours. Some people would say, where do I have the time to sleep for 7 to 9 hours? If you can sleep for 6 hours and the sleep will be a good sleep, that's fine. So you go for it. So there's something called sleep hygiene. We understanding sleep hygiene as part of our daily routine is very good. So sleep hygiene is different practices that we need that for us to have a normal quality night sleep. So these are the different ways that we can do. So sometimes when some people are hungry or they're too full, if you're hungry, don't go to bed to sleep. You will not have a good sleep. So if you're eating a lot, your tummy is so full of food, you will not have a good sleep because you'll just be tossing and left and right on the bed. So we need to find a balance on, this is what sleep hygiene is, us finding the right balance when it comes to having a good sleep, most especially a good night's sleep. I know the way most developed countries structured, including United Kingdom, that some people work nights. So it says that do not sleep during the day, but if you work nights, it is advisable that you have a good sleep during the day, because you know that at night time, your brain, because the way we are being programmed, the way, I would say the way God has programmed us is for us at night time to automatically rest our brain. But because of the way the system is, the way the country is, some people, their nighttime, they have to work. That means you are changing the mood of your brain from the way it is naturally programmed. So if you get as much as possible sleep during the day, that can help your brain to function during the night. Remember, you're asking your brain to do something that is not normally wired to do. So you need to rest the brain during the day. So when you hack the brain to work for you at night, then the brain is ready to work at night. If you do not get good rest sleep, it affects your cognitive ability. You may start to lose memory. You may start to lose attention. So we need to understand that is very important for us as an individual. The last thing is water. Yes, water is very good. But yes, Aisha, how much water should I drink? It depends on you. So some people will say 4 liters of water. Can you drink 4 liters of water in wintertime? Can you drink 4 liters of water in summertime? So you need to think about, at least if you can get 2 liters of water for your body every day, that's fine, 2 liters. Your body will need more water depending on maybe the external factors or maybe your internal factors. So how much water you need for your body depends on a lot of things. If the weather is too hot, let's say we are in the summertime now, there is a possibility that you will drink more than 2 liters of water in a day, go for it. But the minimum quantity of water you should drink in a day is 2 liters. So you can't drink more than that. But remember, if you drink too much water as well, more than what your body requires, you're going to get it out of your body as sweat, and also you are overworking your kidney because you'll be going to the toilet frequently. So you will know that you're drinking too much when you start going to the toilet frequently, because your body doesn't want to retain so much water on itself. So you start going to the toilet frequently. So you would know you need to listen to your body. That is the most important thing. What works for A may not work for B. So listen to your body and just go with the flow, what your body wants. If you do not understand, you can see a medical expert. Thank goodness NHS is free, or if you have a private healthcare, you can seek medical experts advice on the quantity of water you need to drink. But at least minimum on average 2 liters of water will do you a good thing. And water does a lot of things for the body. If you want to you want your skin to glow, as much as you eat the vitamins and minerals, if you drink water, it makes your skin glow as well. It helps regulate your body temperature. It helps to remove any toxins from the body, any bad stuff that your body doesn't need. It helps you to remove it. And when you go to the toilet, it makes you to pass out phases easily. So you don't have to strain the muscles in your colon just because you want to go to the toilet. You don't have to. It makes everything easy to get rid out of the body. So in a nutshell, what am I trying to say for the past minutes now is that for us to have a wealthy life, it's not just about material things. It's not just about buying houses. It's not just about having fleet of cars. Regardless of all these things, if we do not have a good health, if our brain does not function properly, if we do not have a good engaging physical activity, all these things will be worthless. All these things that we are running after to acquire in this world will be meaningless. So this is why our health should be our number one priority, should be our wealth. We need to take care of ourselves, our mental well-being, our physical well-being, the nutrition, have some good sleep, rest very well, surround yourself with the right set of people, have a very good social life. I'm not saying party, 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 but surround yourself with positive energy people, people who would motivate you, people who would encourage you, people who would support you, and surround yourself with the right set of people. And just for us to know that sometimes we may not be able to achieve everything we have in our plan, but if we have a very good health, if we do not achieve it now, we can achieve it later. So we are not robots. We are not artificial intelligence. We are human beings. And every human beings have their limitations. So we need to understand that. So this is the food for thought before I round up, that my mental health is very important for me as my physical health. I need to take care of myself. You also need to take good care of yourself, and you must take care of your health. Why? Because our health is our wealth. So I've got some upcoming events. I'll be talking about, a date hasn't been fixed yet. Talk about health issues that we have in BAME communities, Black, Asian, minority ethnic groups. We have some certain diseases that are so particular to BAME communities. So we'll be looking into that. Why is this so? Why is the percentage of BAME community with disease high compared to white population? We'll look into that. And I'm also looking into organize a walk for women where on Saturday we'll go for a walk as part of a physical activity, as part of us bonding as women, and part of us connecting with each other and also having a very good social life. There's another activity which is coming in. We'll talk about children nutrition, as we know that gone are those days that will say that children doesn't have diabetes. Now you see a 6, 7 years old diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. So we need to understand children nutrition. What can we do as parents for us to encourage our children to have a healthy lifestyle, to have a good well-being, mental well-being, engage in physical activities. And also the last one is African foods and how there's a lot of issues and controversies around African foods when it comes to Eba, Hamala, how these African foods, I can't do without my hayamashi. The oil has to be flowing on top of it. That we need to discuss about that. How you can still enjoy your hayamashi, how you can still enjoy your pounded yam, but at the same time, looking after your health. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for your time. And I hope I managed to share one or two things that you find interesting and useful during this talk. Thank you. Any question? I'm ready to take now. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Sister Aisha. That was a very comprehensive guide on why our health is our wealth. You talked a lot about our mental and physical well-being, which is really important. And, you know, I love the way you broke down our healthy eating, specifically referring to our macronutrients and micronutrients and what to look out for when you're buying food. That's really, really interesting. And I was going to kick off with a question, but you've actually covered it. The NHS does provide a lovely guide, but I feel as though that's more for westernized individuals. And it will be nice to see an Eat Well guide for African and Caribbeans and Asians as well. So it's more close, but you've said you're going to touch on that, so that's great. Any questions? Open the floor, any questions? And if you're a bit shy to ask questions, please feel free to put something in the chat. There's some comments in the chats as to your excellent presentation, excellent, informative. Thank you. Any questions? Please unmute and ask. I'm sure you've got 101 questions.
Any question, anyone?
I have a question. Thanks a lot for your talk. It was very interesting. And I think I want to watch it again because you said so many interesting things that it's nice to ponder a little bit more in some of them. So my question is about supplement, vitamins and all that kind of stuff. So I have been taking them for years, but then applying for jobs are really more about medical condition and supplements and everything. I actually discovered and realized I should know, probably with my professional scientific background, they actually useless. So basically that I have them now. So I said, I'm going to use the one I have. I'm not going to buy them again. So when I'm talking about them, I'm talking about vitamin, I'm talking about zinc, I'm talking about omega-3 and vitamin 3. I don't think that I will buy them again. The only one that I think maybe they would be useful, I think vitamin D is the one that I have heard a lot for COVID. And I had actually several years ago vitamin D deficiency. So I think that something that probably we need to be cautious. I mean, we don't get enough sun here, so I think that's important. It would be nice to hear your opinion on that. And the other one, which I think is equally important, and I'm not sure you mentioned that, but I'm not sure we can get it and all we need with the food is omega-3. So I just wanted to ask your opinion about this.
Okay. Thanks, Manuela. Am I right? Okay, then. Thank you, and thanks for the question. Yes, let's start with the supplements. I was just smiling when you were talking about supplements. I know when you go to certain health stores, you see tons and tons of supplements lying on the shelf, and sometimes you get confused with different names and different things. Okay. You don't need supplements.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. Supplement means additional thing. You're adding onto something. Does that make sense? That means something is there already. You're just adding onto it. You don't need supplement. The only people that need supplements are those people that have some health issues.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a very good health, if you have all your macronutrients, if you have all your micronutrients, your vitamins and minerals, if you consume varieties of fruits and vegetables, what else do you need? The only people that need supplement are those people that may find it difficult, or their body finds it difficult to absorb those nutrients from the plants or animals. Does that make sense? That is when or if you have it in a low quantity in your body and it's a form of emergency, you need to boost the one that you get from the plants, from the vitamins, from the minerals. That is when you need supplements. If you eat healthily, you consume different fruit and vegetables, your body can absorb it very well. You don't need it.
But that's not true for vitamin D.
No, that's not true. 1 second. That's not true for vitamin D. Reason why for vitamin D is, I'll give you an example. For someone living in the UK, most especially when you are older, most especially again during the winter time, they recommend for older people to get vitamin D3 supplement.
Yeah.
I will not move to, let's say, Africa.
Oh, yes, of course.
Someone in Africa of the same age, right, will not need it. Does that make sense now? So the reason why is that we get the vitamin D naturally. Our body makes some, and we need, but the ones that we make from our body is not enough for our body to use. So we need additional boost of it, which we get from the sun. Because we know the type of sun that we have, the weather we have in UK, that is why they really advocate on vitamin D, right? But if you're living in a country whereby getting the sun is not an issue, you don't need it.
Absolutely.
Right? Except if you are an older person who barely goes out, despite the fact you live in a sunny country, but maybe because you're very old, you barely goes out, then they may recommend you to have vitamin D. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So that is the case for vitamins. For supplements, no, except in certain health conditions, you will need some supplement for vitamin D. Yes, more recommended for older people just because of the way the UK weather is, most especially during the winter time. Older people need more vitamin D compared to younger people.
I also know that it was advice from, that's my profession. I work in the medical charity sector. It was advice also for COVID, because it seems that was one that was beneficial for lots of different people anyway. So that was a good one. Well, which is controversial, but anyway, that, you know,
that's why I'm smiling. I'll tell you one thing that that amazes me during the COVID period. Then they come, then you hear, oh, you have to get what is it called? You need your calcium, you need this, you need vitamins, you need this, you need that, because of the because they are trying to figure it out exactly what can you do to counter this COVID from developing too much in your body. Because vitamin D is good for your immune system.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? You need a strong immune. That is why they emphasize so much on vitamin D. Trust me, you need everything. You need a combination of all the vitamins and minerals. You cannot just focus on one thing and ignore the rest. It's still not going to help your body balance very well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have 2 questions in the chat. The
Okay.
first one is, under the food and energy requirements, what do you mean by MJ/D?
It's the MJ/D is the energy measurement for macronutrients. So it's megajoules per day. So it's just the way you measure energy. The easiest way to look into that most nutritionists use is the kilojoule. So it means the same thing. It's just the energy measurement of your nutrients, your macronutrients to be precise, per day. How much macronutrients you need to. It's just a measurement. Like when you measure electricity, you use kilowatts. So it's just how you measure your energy requirements, your food energy requirements per day.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And the second question is, what foods would cause your B12 to be higher than normal?
That is a vitamin B12, if I can remember, is a riboflavin or thiamine. I can't remember what type of, But what food will it go? I would say if you try and consume less red meat, then, if you consume more red meat, there is a possibility that it may increase your high intake of vitamin B12.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Any last questions? I know we've run over time a little bit, but it was a very interesting and very comprehensive presentation that we need to know. So apologies for that, but it was worth it. If there are no more questions, any last words from you, Sister Aisha? Any last words from you, Sister Aisha?
Okay, yes. Thank you. I was thinking in the last question for me. Okay, I would just say that, first of all, thank you for joining this platform, and thanks to the host as well, for Professor Toyi, for allowing me to share my knowledge about food and health and looking after ourselves on this platform. Thank you so much. And if you like to know more about anything about your health, anything about food, how to keep fit, how to manage your weight, you can email me at okwadeaisha@gmail.com. One more thing I would just say to us is that no matter what life throws at us, no matter what the wind may be, we need to try to keep calm, and enjoy ourselves. We just live this one life, and looking after ourselves, ensuring our well-being. That is the only way we can be useful to ourselves. We can be useful to our families and friends. We can be useful to our community as well. Our health is our wealth. That is the most important thing. And thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful. So we started with prayer. We're going to end with prayer after having such a successful session. And I'll ask Dr. Manuela Volta to give us a closing prayer. Over to you, Manuela.
Thanks, everybody. First of all, I wanted to thank Aisha, because it was very, very interesting, and you never stop learning about things, although you read about that every day. So that was It was very good. And I would like to start the closing prayer thanking God, because he's always with us. He's always reminding us that we need to look after ourselves, our body, our mental health. And this means also having the opportunity to attend such an intensive session like we had today. So we thank God for every opportunity that he gave us to look after ourselves, and also our friend and our brothers and sisters around us.
Amen.
And again, thanks for everything you do for Yak and Kay and everyone in the charity, and for our fantastic Bernadine, that is always amazing. Like, she's so great organizing everything, and she is a gift for us every day, always. So I thanks God for this. And also I would like to say, it's always Bernadine reminds me that it's good also to put we dedicate our time to attend this session today. So it's always nice that we always have we spare our time to join together and to carry on and doing things for Yak and Kay. So God, we give you this as a gift for you, and it's that's very important. So I will just put into your hands everything that we got really close to our heart today. And yes, thanks God again, and have a nice Saturday, everyone. And I don't know any prayers in English, but Bernadine, can you please say a couple of prayers in English, so we can actually that this is a shame. I should have learned them in English. I know only them in Italian. So I think it would be nice to end this with a prayer for God and for our mother, Virgin Mary. But I'm sorry, I don't know them in English. So if you feel, we can do that. And otherwise, have a nice Saturday, and thanks God anyway. So
no worries. Thank you very much, Manuela. That's beautiful. So I just want to say thank you, everybody, for joining today. As Manuela said, we can't do these programs if people don't dedicate a bit of time to join in. So thank you very much, and have a lovely afternoon and remaining weekend. Take care and God bless.
Thank you very much.
Can you stop recording now?